There is so much wrong with this story that I don't know where to start. The only interesting issue is that everything that is wrong with it, including the overcharging and the lack of regulation in electrical pricing and the ERCOT issues and the lack of preparation for this storm, all of it was predictable, all of it was fixable, and all of it can be fixed.
And Ali, I would add it happened before. In 2011, they had the same exact situation with the winter, and there was recommendations to weatherize the grid. What we need to know is why those recommendations were disregarded. Was there a political decision to disregard them? Why did no one invest in the type of infrastructure that was recommended to them? And so my hope is that the CEO of ERCOT will come and testify in front of our committee and lay out the facts and tell the American people what went wrong and what we need to do to prevent this from happening again.
The state of Texas, though, the government of the state of Texas, the governor and Republican leaders there have made quite a show of having zero interest in the federal government playing any role in their electricity regulation. In fact, they made the argument, if you'll recall, in the early hours of this power outage that Texans would rather take a power outage than have the federal government involved.
Well, that's not what we're hearing from with Texans who have $15,000, $20,000 bills, and we'll be hearing some of their testimony with Texans who had to suffer through extraordinary cold weather. We have an obligation as the United States to make sure that this doesn't happen to anyone, Texans or Californians or people in any state. And this was so preventable because it just required basic infrastructure investment. And that's what the committee is going to find out, why those decisions and recommendations of experts were ignored.
So it's odd because it's not. Energy experts I've spoken to say that the infrastructure investments to winterize the natural gas delivery and the electrical delivery in Texas would not be unduly burdensome. They would be what normal people would think of as business preparation, the kind of things that business is prepared for. So what's your sense of what actually drove these decisions not to do it? Is it laziness? Was it just wishful thinking that we're not going to get bad weather in Texas? Or do you think it was something more sinister?
I think it's a worldview that these politicians have. Deregulate. Why do we need regulations? Why do we need this kind of investment? This is bureaucracy. This is overregulation. And often regulations don't matter. But you know what? There is a reason we have regulations when we get on an airplane and want it to be safe. And there's a reason now we see that we have regulations for bad weather conditions, because the consequences of not having that are disastrous in terms of a loss of human life and in terms of cost. And that's why what we will find, I think, with these documents is that the experts were saying to weatherize. The experts were pointing out, by the way, that weatherizing wind turbines was much simpler than weatherizing natural gas. If anything, Texas would have been benefited if they had more renewable energy, despite the claims. And all we want is to get the facts out.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.